A couple of things I want to dive into this final hour. Did Tom Brady win the MVP with that performance against Pittsburgh? And my point is, yes. I thought Brady was the leading candidate for the MVP. Should be. You know, Russell Wilson tapped out, or his team tapped out. Threw 3 interceptions against Jacksonville, came home, got roughed up against the Rams. Todd Gurley, I think, making a late run for the top 3, maybe. Top 4. Is Drew Brees going to be in there, even though this isn't a typical Drew Brees year? It feels like we've run out of candidates here. You know, we want to put Antonio Brown in there, but Brown didn't play much in the game against the Patriots, got injured. He's not going to play in the next 2 games because of the injury. It's Tom Brady. The oldest MVP, I think we looked at this before. The Giants' Charlie Connerly, was he around 39 or 40? Was Y.A. Tittle up there too? It's been a while, I think, since somebody this age has won the MVP. Yeah, Paulie.
LeVeon Bell is leading the league in rushing attempts, rushing yardage. He has 8 rushing touchdowns. He also has 80 catches. Yeah. He's on pace for 93 catches.
He's having a better year than Gurley, but it feels like we're just looking for candidates here. And is Le'Veon Bell going to be a top 5 candidate? Yeah, McLevin.
I was looking at Bell. One thing, he's only averaging 4.0 yards per carry this year, which is surprising for him. I don't know. So in that sense, he might be having a little bit of a down year for him.
Gurley's had some. Well, Gurley's the guy who breaks these runs.
Like he's got much higher.
Yes,
he's 4.6.
But Gurley is the guy who can take it. You know, he can at any point he can take it. Le'Veon Bell, it just feels like, is always going to give you more yards than they think that he should get on a carry. Yeah, McLeod.
Le'Veon was 4.9 last year, 4.9 the year before. He's down to 4.0 this year.
Yeah. Well, I think Brady has won the MVP. Can we?
Case Keenum in the top 5, which a lot of people are putting him there. I know that sounds ridiculous, but in ESPN.com, Kevin Seifert has him number 3.
Number 3.
I think it's a little much even.
Can you be, and this goes back to Antonio Brown, I didn't think Antonio Brown was the most valuable player on his own team, but as some people pointed out and used my words against me, and rightfully so, Draymond Green may have been the most valuable player on Golden State, but not the most valuable player in the league. And I understand that. But Ben, to me, is irreplaceable. Antonio Brown, to me, you don't want to have to replace him, but you can. You can get by without Antonio Brown because they do have some other weapons. Here's another thing with the Steelers. The Steelers have got to move on from this loss. You know, let's stop. You know, get your story straight of who called the spike, fake spike, and move on. You know what? The catch, non-catch, move on. You know, I saw where Mike Tomlin said he thinks the league is going to readdress the catch rule in the offseason. Okay, move on. You got 2 more regular season games. You better get the number 2 seed or you're going to end up in Jacksonville and out of the playoffs. Move on. And this is one thing that I really admire with the Patriots. With all the things that go on with the Patriots, good, bad, indifferent, ugly, they move on quickly. Belichick moves on. If this had happened to the Patriots, they move on. If somebody says, Bill, what did you think of the non-catch if it was on Gronkowski? We're moving on. I got Buffalo coming up. He wouldn't even deal with it. Whose decision was it, Brady, to spike or not spike? We made that decision as a team. We move on. Like he would not mess with this. I mean, I love the fact that the Steelers are still talking because it's great fodder for us. But you got to move on. There's a bigger picture here. You'll get Antonio Brown back, having that number 2 seed, and then you go to New England. That's what you're hoping for here. But to keep revisiting this, and I'm sure people are going to keep bringing it up because you keep talking about it. Move on and move on quickly. Because you're supposed to win these final 2 games. Don't screw it up. But I do think Brady won that MVP. I thought he was the leading candidate in the first place. But I don't know if somebody's going to find a reason to not give it to Tom Brady.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.